Okay, I'm gonna try to get this video done before the sun goes down. I prefer naturally lit videos anyway, so we'll see what we can do. Is this straight? Today, we're gonna be talking about one of my favorite stories of all time to tell. It's how I knew I was transgender. If you're interested in keeping up with me in between videos, you can find me on Instagram. I'll put it right here. And I'll also link it below in the description. You know what, actually, because I don't want to get crucified, let me say this so you can see me say this. My story is not everyone's story. Trans people are not a monolith. And so do not take what I say in my story and say, oh, well, this is why everyone is trans, or everyone that's trans obviously experienced this, this, and this. Everybody's experience is different. The goal of this video is just to share with you mine. Okay, so how did I know I was trans? This story goes all the way back to the beginning. So when I was a little kid, I had no idea what the word trans meant. Because when I was 5, it was like 2005, 2006. So at that time, I didn't really have a concept or an understanding of gender, period. I was just me. I had always been just me. But I do know as a kid, I loved stereotypically feminine things. I liked dolls. Whenever I would watch TV and stuff, like Disney, like the princesses and stuff, I always wanted to be one of the princesses. I always wanted to do, like, whenever I would envision myself in those kind of scenarios and situations, I was always the princess. But again, no red flags. It's just whatever. Her outfit was better. The story was about her. Who knows? You know how, like, growing up, like, in school and stuff, or maybe even at home, because I experienced this in my family life too. You know how, like, growing up, they used to split us by gender? I'm having memories of, like, growing up, the boy cousins, like, had to go outside and play, but the girl cousins got to stay in the house. And so growing up, I was like, well, I want to go in there. Like, it's hot outside, it's sweaty, they watching TV. This is where all the good stuff at. I want to go in there. Y'all out here throwing footballs and hitting each other. That is not fun. But it wasn't, again, I was a child. So it wasn't, like I mentioned earlier, that concept of, like, gender wasn't there. It was just, I have two options in front of me. Go outside, stay in the house and help cook. I want to stay in the house and help cook. I just knew, hey, girls get to do the stuff that I want to do, and boys don't get to do those things. And I remember feeling like, okay, y'all are telling me to go outside, but I don't want to, like, outside don't feel right. Because at this point, I'm like 8, 9, 10, 11. Like, I don't know what trans is. I'm just like boy and girl, and apparently I'm one of these, so that's where I guess I gotta be. So I heard that a lot growing up. Lot. I'm like, hey, I want to go do this, or I want to play with this. And they're like, that's for girls. It was like it was kept away from me at a very early age. And I was like, all right, okay. I remember growing up and looking around at, like, all of the adult women in my family. Like, I think about my mom, her sister, her mom. Like, I was looking at all the women in my family, and I wanted to be just like them. Aesthetically speaking, my mom's sister, my aunt, is that girl. Like, growing up, when I would go visit her for holidays and stuff, whenever I would see her, she would always have her lashes done and her nails done and her hair done. I was like, I wanna look like that. Like, I wanna grow up and embody that. And then I was looking at my uncles, and it was kind of like, womp womp. I was like, I don't want to be that. And so I'm looking around, and everybody's explaining to me, like, you're gonna, like, you know, you're a boy. You're gonna grow up and be a strong man someday and someone's husband. I'm like, ugh. I remember very early on having so many things that I wanted to do that were, like, withheld from me because I wasn't a girl. And so I remember just living vicariously through my female cousins, and I remember living vicariously through my aunt and my mom and my friends at school, and eventually my little sister. I was just looking at all of the women around me just kind of patiently waiting, like one day I'll get to do this. I don't know when, but one day I'm gonna have that too. I want to give a small trigger warning for the next piece of this video. If you have a sensitivity to sexual assault, then you skip this section of the video. And I will do my best to keep all of that in this portion of the video so that you don't get caught off guard with that. If you look on your screen, you'll see chapters. The video is cut up into things so you can skip back and forth. I will name this one TWSA, and I will try to keep all of that in this section so you don't bump into that. So for anybody with a sensitivity to SA, skip. Okay. We're going to take a quick pit stop from gender to talk about sexuality. And I'm not saying that this affected how I developed. I'm not saying it didn't affect how I developed. Please do not use me as the poster child of, aha, all trans people experience this and that's what's wrong with you. Leave me alone. Leave us alone. This is my story. I'm telling it. I'm telling what happened. I was sexually assaulted by an older male around the age of like 5. And I'm saying around the age of 5 because I've buried those memories very deep. I can't definitively say I was 5 and it was the Christmas of 2000 and I don't remember. I buried it very, very deep. So I'm speaking I was sexually assaulted around the age of 5 by an older male. And that sexual assault happened a couple of times a year from 5 until about 13. I don't know why it stopped, but I assume the reason that it stopped is because the male in question is about 5 years older than me. So when I was 13, that would put him at being 18, I believe, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah. Now that I'm older and look back, I assume it's because he was a legal adult and now he's 18. I don't remember most of it because, like I said, I buried it very deep. I do have a few I do have like a few core memories that'll like play through my mind from time to time. But that happened. So I'm being sexually assaulted. And on the other side of that, I'm hearing in my everyday life, girls like boys and boys like girls. That's how it's supposed to be. At some point in my early life, I realized I had an attraction to males. Pause. Now, there are a lot of people that are hearing this and are going to say, oh, you didn't have that attraction. It's only because you were assaulted that you have that attraction. I'm not here to argue or pinpoint, or I really don't want to do that. I'm just telling you everything, right? And specifically in my defense, I don't know which one happened first because, like I said, the memories are very spotty. If you remember the religion video that we talked about, I talked about how I knew I was attracted to males very early because I have like memories of kindergarten and being like, there was this little kid in my class, whatever. Like if you watched the video, then you saw that story. But mind you, in kindergarten, you're like 5 or 6. So around that time, somewhere in that time frame, I started getting assaulted. So I don't know which came first, the horse or the carriage. Either way, I like men. From a religious standpoint, y'all are telling me this is wrong. But also, y'all are telling me like wanting to play with dolls is wrong. And also, I'm not supposed to be feminine. So the gears are turning at this point. I'm like, okay, something might be wrong foundationally because why is it that everything I want to do is for them and not for us? I don't understand. At this point, I'm in like middle school. At this point, I'm like just kind of taking stock, looking around like, okay, girls dress like this, boys dress like this. The whole time, mind you, I'm looking at them like, I want to dress like that. Like, I want to try a lip gloss. Like, I want to try, like, I want what they got. Like, I want some of that, right? So, somewhere between middle school and high school, I found 2 YouTubers. Um, I found, and I'll link them below. I found Miles J and I found Malibu Dollface. I have not seen their videos in a while, so I'm going off of what it was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, Malibu Dollface was a gay man that wore makeup and wigs, and Miles J is a trans woman. But at the time, she hadn't come out yet. She was just a gay guy in wigs and makeup. So I found black, I found two black queer people that felt similar to how I did. Like, they wear makeup and they wear wigs and they wear girl clothes, and like I would just watch their videos for hours. Like, I would come home and try to get done with my homework, and like if I got a little YouTube time or whatever, I'm like I'm watching. Like, man, this is gonna be me someday. I just had a moment because it is me someday. I'm sitting on YouTube now. Oh man, that's a full circle moment. Nice. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching them, and I'm like, this is gonna be me someday. And I used to watch every video. I'm like, oh, I can't wait till I'm an adult so I can get my hair done and my nails done and wear all the cute clothes and do all the things. I used to get so excited about it. And so by the time I was in like late middle school, early high school, I was depressed. I was very, 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 very sad because I felt like my life was passing me by, and I didn't, I wasn't happy with anything that was going on. I'm looking at girls get to do things that I want to do, and by this point, I'm conceptualizing like, okay, I'm a boy, but I want to do that stuff. Something's wrong. Like, whatever. So I'm carrying the weight of all of this. I find another YouTuber. I find Gigi Gorgeous. And I find Princess Joules. I'll also link both of those below. Gigi Gorgeous was my first introduction to trans women, because Gigi Gorgeous at the time, Gigi Gorgeous was a gay man and then transitioned to a trans woman, and she was beautiful. And so I'm like, wait, we can do that? Like, and so I'm watching her like develop over time, like going to get my like the boob vlog and doing all these different things. I'm like, I want that. But I was like kind of scared to say it. I was like, can we say that? Like, I don't want to get in trouble. Like, but I just watched week after week all of her videos. Like, she she has what I want. Like she looks like a girl. She walks through life as a girl, and she's happy. I was like, I want that. I was looking around at what I had, and I was like, I don't want this. I was like, I want to be her. And so I'm just going through. By this time, I'm like 15, 16, and I'm like, okay, obviously scared because I grew up very religious. And so I'm like, okay, on one side, I'm not supposed to be doing this. I'm not supposed to be thinking like this. My mom said God feel like this. My dad said this. The church said da 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 da. Right? On the other side, I'm like, oh no, though. Every time I see a bag in the store, I'd be like, come back for you. By about 16 is when I start to toy around with the idea, okay, what if I am trans? The thought of being able to run away and just be a girl never escaped my brain. I was like, there's always a little thought in the back there. Like, junior and senior year of high school, I'm like trying to push the thought away because religious trauma and all kind of trauma, and I'm like, because I knew, especially at that time, like, I'll give my parents their roses. They've definitely grown some, but especially at that time period, my dad like physically threatened me. Like, I was like, bro, this is not safe. Who want to be a girl? Not me. I don't know nothing about that. Done deal. Go to prom. Hate it. If the girl that I went to prom with, if you see this, I love you. I did not hate prom because of you. We're great. We were great. I felt like a Roblox character, y'all. I'm not putting the picture in here, but I had like a big afro, and it was all picked out, and I had this big boxy suit. Oh my god, it was awful. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I was like, man, go through prom, hate it. Go through graduation, hate it. And then I get to a freshman in college and I'm still trying to like push it away. Like, no, I'm just a gay guy, whatever, right? That's not for me, whatever. And I realized like so much of my life was passing me by and I didn't want to I wasn't living at all. I was just kind of on autopilot. So like I don't even remember most of my teenage years because I wasn't there. Like I don't remember the first half of me being in college because I wasn't there. Like I was just kind of just that college was a pivotal point for me. I get to college and I'm seeing girls and I'm like, man, y'all are hot. Like I want to be hot too, like that kind of stuff. And I'm also cognizant of like I'm looking around at how women are being treated and I'm looking around at how men get treated and I'm like I want to be treated like how women get treated. Like I want to walk through the world the way that you guys do, right? So I'm noticing all of these things. Again, making female friends that are like, I mean, you want some lip gloss? I'll put some lip gloss on you. And I'm like, is that okay? Like, I shout out to my friend Jamie. I love you so much. Jamie was the like one of the it girls in school. And so she was my friend and I'm like, okay, cool. She's teaching me about makeup and wigs and clothes and I'm like digging through her closet looking at stuff and I'm like asking questions. So why do you wear this and how do you get to do this? I'm like, she was such a safe space for me to explore and express myself and I am forever grateful to you for that. I'm sorry, I had to go get my ring light because it was getting dark and I'm looking at the viewfinder in the camera. I'm like, is it getting darker? I'm sorry if it looks crazy. I'm sorry. I should have got the light when I sat down, but I was just so excited to film this video. But I have it now, so here we are. But anyway, so I get to college. I'm depressed. I am just sad, and like nobody can like none of us can figure out why. We're like, why are you so sad, right? All of this is going on, and I hate to attribute me coming out as trans to a man, but in college I met this guy. For my friends that are watching this, I'm talking about stupid. I met this guy, and I had the biggest crush on him. Oh my god. We can skip a lot of the details, but there's a very important conversation that he and I had one day in my dorm that I want to highlight. He was either in my dorm room or we were on the phone, but I believe we were on the phone. And we're having a conversation and he tells me, he's like, you're always encouraging people to be themselves, but when are you going to start being yourself? And I'm looking at him like, what you mean? Like I am myself. You see these stuffed animals, like everybody knows that I'm gay. What do you mean? And he's like, what if Jordan is a girl? And I was like, pause. Now, as feminine as I was, those first 2 years of college, I did not wear makeup. I did not wear wigs. I was just a feminine boy. I had never told anybody that I wanted to transition. Like those words had never left my mouth. So for me to be sitting here talking to this man and he says, what if Jordan is a girl? Shook my world because I'm like, how did he know that? Right? So he says that on the phone. I'm like, what? Who said that? Like, I don't know nothing about that, right? He's like, I think you're a girl. And I was like, whatever. Just like push that thought out of my brain. Keep moving forward, right? Going on. And as time progresses and I'm getting older, I think was really the key factor for me. I just kept getting sadder and sadder and sadder. And I'm like, man, life really sucks. So I get to that point. Oh no, by this point, I had bought my very own wig. I never wore it outside. I never did any of that. But I would try it on in my dorm room sometimes by myself. And I would smile and I would get so happy. And I would be like, I would cherish that little moment of happiness and then take it off, put it back in the box, hide it, and go on about my day. So all of this is going on. It gets to a point where May 1st, 2020, the infamous story, I'm sitting in the bottom of the closet of my dorm room and I was so sad. I don't know what set me off that day, but I was so sad. I was like, I can't do this anymore. Trigger warning, I'm gonna KMS. And I remember hearing this little voice in the back of my head that was like, before you do that, there is one thing that you haven't tried. And I'm like, I mean, how is me wearing a wig gonna solve the fact that I'm... And I am sitting there and I'm like, I really don't want to and not know what that felt like to walk into a room and look like this. I didn't want to die and not know what it felt like to wear that in public or what it felt like to buy my own handbag. So in the bottom of the closet, I make a promise to myself. I say, all right, you know what? I'll give it a shot because I'm literally about to KMS. What else do I have to lose, right? So I make a promise to myself and I tell myself, I'll give it a try. Give it a try being me like this. I'll give it a try. And if I don't like it or it's not for me, cool. I can just come back in KMS like I was going to do anyway. So I finish crying. I come out of the closet. I shave my head. And me shaving my head was a promise to myself. Like, okay, when by the time my hair grows back, if I'm still sad, right? So I'm like, I have about a year to figure, just to try, just give it a shot, right? I shave my head and that starts the journey of me like, okay, I'm going to do this. Here we go. I go home for the summer, come back, and that leads to all kind of like I'm literally in my dorm room like, okay, gonna put on a wig, gonna do it. And I would get so scared like that. Oh my, that semester was a lot. Like I had so much like, because I was so scared. I was like, I don't want to get beat up. I don't want to get made fun of. I don't know. And mind you, I don't even have a plan. All I know is at this point, I'm sitting here, being gay is not enough. I have a wig, and I was finna KMS a couple months ago. What am I doing? I don't know. So eventually over time, I build up the courage to put the wig on and go outside. If you want to see what if you want to see what that looked like, I'll put it upstairs in the cards. Eventually I get the courage to put on the wig and go outside, and everyone around me, it's crazy because you remember I told you I had that big natural hair. Everyone thought it looked like this. And so everyone thought it was my hair at first. And so a couple of people made fun of me, but for the most part, everybody on campus was just like, yeah, it's just Jordan. That's just Jordan straightened his hair. And so I'm walking around campus and everybody's like, oh, your hair is so pretty. And I'm like, thanks. And just doing, whatever. And I'm happy. Like I'm smiling in pictures. I'm like, I'm happy, right? I want you guys to know, for anybody that hasn't figured it out yet, this is the beginning of my accidental social transition. So I put the wig on. People are asking me like, oh, are you a girl? Like, do you want to change your pronouns? I'm like, whoa, that's a whole lot of questions. No comment, I'm wearing the wig for a while and the sadness goes away and then it starts to come back. And so what would happen is cool. So then it's like, all right, I'll put on a wig and a little bit of mascara, just a little lip gloss, just a little bit. I'm still wearing my boy clothes. I'm still going by he, him pronouns. I'm just experimenting with wigs and fashion, right? And I like it. I'm happy. I'm like, this is nice. I like this. And that eventually the sadness came back. I was like, something still doesn't feel right. And so I remember trying on, I remember going to the mall, grabbing a couple of I grabbed some clothes from the women's section and I started like integrating that into my wardrobe. So it's like boy shirt, boy pants, girl shirt, boy pants, boy shirt, girl skirt. Like I'm like playing with my gender expression. And again, I'm so grateful that nobody, like, not too many people made fun of me. Most people were just kind of like pretty, like, a good percentage of my campus was just kind of watching me figure this out. And at the time, I was like one of the only, I don't want to say I was the only trans girl, but I might have been. There may have been like one other. And so it's like everybody is watching me, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I remember reaching a point, I have a very vivid memory of this. I was having fun. I left something, like some sort of event or something, and I get back to my dorm room and I come in, I go to the bathroom, but I was looking at myself in the mirror and I didn't want to take it off. And that's what made me realize, okay, we need to have a talk. It's not, I'm not a guy that wants to wear wigs and makeup. I'm not a cross dresser that wants to, I'm not one of those things. What I'm dealing with is more fundamental than what I've been treating it. And so I literally stood there in the bathroom in tears as I took it all off. And I was like, I don't want to take it off. I want to be this all the time. I want to feel like this all the time. And so I'm like, okay. By this point, it's like 2021, and I'm like, okay, I'm non-binary then. Yeah, I'm a guy or whatever, but like you can call me she, and like that's nice. Like I like the way that feels. So some of my friends at this point are like, yeah, that's her. Like she did whatever, right? But also, this is like prime COVID, so people are wearing masks. So I'm also walking around in public, and people are like, yeah, she, because they can't see like my face, right? So it's like she, right? And I'm like, every time someone calls me she in public, I smile. I'm like, you know? So all of this is happening. All of this is building up, right? From birth until now, all of this is happening. And again, my campus was very accepting, but it like, yeah, I can wear a skirt or a dress and I can have on a wig and no one's gonna bother me for the most part. But people would still be like, oh, what's up, bro? Yeah, he be wearing dresses and stuff. And I was like, that don't feel right. I don't like the way, I don't like that part of it. So all this is going on, going on, going on, going on. And I'm just kind of riding in non-binary. I'm not a trans woman. I'm non-binary. I am both. I end up graduating and I leave undergrad and I move states. I move from the south to the north. And I move here. No one knows me. No one has seen me on the internet. No one knows who I am, right? And when I first got here for grad school, everybody perceived me as female. So I didn't get misgendered once. And so I'm halfway through my first semester of grad school and everybody's like, yeah, she, her, like that's she's just a girl. And I'm like, that feels really nice. And that confirmed it for me. So from 5 years old to, hey, I want to play with this, and boys don't get to do that, to 18, 20, however many years later, here I am. I wear wigs, I wear mascara, I get my eyebrows done, I get my nails painted, and I like lip gloss, I like skirts and dresses, and I like all this stuff. And now, everywhere I go, people call me she. And I was like, cool. So I'm coasting through my first semester of grad school, having a great time. And if you remember that feeling I told you I had in my dorm back in undergrad in the South, where I was getting undressed one day, it came back. I was in my dorm room in grad school. Well, it wasn't a dorm, it was an apartment. I was in my apartment and I was getting undressed one day. And I looked at myself in the mirror. And again, I was like, it's not enough. I remember at one point in grad school feeling very performative. Like, yeah, I look like a girl, and no matter where I go, people perceive me as a girl, but it still bothers me that when I come home at night, I have to wash this off and take it off. I don't want to take it off. I want to do something or find a way to where I'm a girl all day. I don't want to take it off. Made my first like trans friends in grad school, and I remember I'm not gonna say what her name is, but if she's watching this, she'll know who she is. But I remember her telling me, "Oh my God, I just got my appointment with Planned Parenthood to start HRT," and I was like, "We can do that. Like, I'm an adult. Like, I can do that. Do I want to do that?" And so I'm going through all these questions. Like, do I want to do that? And I'm doing as much research as I can online. Like, what does HRT do to your body? What am I gonna look like? What am I gonna sound like? What does it do? And I found some stuff. I wish I would have found more, but I just I took a risk, and I was like, I think I'm ready for this next step because, and I had been doing this accidentally, but from the moment I put that wig on, I had been slowly trying everything to see where does it stop for me. Am I just a guy that likes wearing wigs? And that wasn't enough. Am I just a guy that likes wigs and makeup? That wasn't enough. Okay, maybe I just want to wear girl clothes. Maybe I just want to be called she sometimes on the weekends with my friends. Maybe I just like guys. Where do I stop? And now here I am sitting in a Planned Parenthood office signing that I want hormone replacement therapy. And I'm like, I'm just going to keep going until I'm comfortable. And I started taking the pills. I've been documenting it along the way. You guys have been watching me grow and change. And I'm very happy to say I've reached a point now in my life where I don't have to take it off. So yeah, that's my story. That's how I knew. I hope I didn't forget anything. You'll see me randomly online, like frantically online, like I forgot to mention, but I think I covered the bases. I think that's all I got for you. Thank you for watching this, and thank you for subscribing and commenting and showing me so much love. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I'll put it right here. And I guess that's it. I'll catch you guys in my next one. Peace and love, you guys.